Well done, you're pregnant, congratulations. You're bursting full of joy and you feel like an earth mother, really serene and happy. And then your midwife says she wants you to go and see a dietitian. Wonderful, can't wait, you lie. There's no way I'm attending that appointment with a finger-wagging foodie fascist, food police, wicked witch of the West. Well, let me see if I can make you change your mind. The 9 months of pregnancy represents the most intense period of growth and development we as humans ever experience in our lifetime. What you eat during your pregnancy will influence your baby's health for 1,000 days. That's from the moment of conception until the age of 2 years old. What you eat during pregnancy has an impact on your baby's future health. Dietitians are here to help you do what you want to do yourself. Make the best food choices to provide all the nutrients for your healthy baby and to support you, especially if you have a health issue on top of being pregnant. Dietitians have experience in medicine and nutrition, and this enables us to embrace whatever challenges and cares you bring to your appointment and to advise you in a way you find acceptable. We're a bespoke service customised to you. So hi, pleasure to meet you. I'm Jill McRae and I'm your dietitian, and I have someone here I'd like you to meet. This is Jennifer. She's 18 weeks into her pregnancy and she's got lots of questions she'd like to ask, and you can listen too.
Hi Jill. I've had terrible morning sickness for the last couple of weeks, Jill. What can I do?
Well, you need to keep drinking, Jennifer. It's important to avoid dehydration when you're suffering from nausea, even if you have times where you can only manage a few sips, so that's perfect. Although not having fluid with meals can reduce nausea, keep food and fluid separate until the nausea passes. Some find it helpful to stay away from food smells as well, so you might want to avoid being in the kitchen as much as possible. And some people find that if they eat cold meals that don't have any aromas, that helps them too. So you could concentrate on having cold meals like sandwiches or pasta salads or ploughman type lunches. Okay? Many women swear by dry toast or crackers as a treatment for nausea, and you could try that and see if it helps too.
Well, I have to eat for two, me and the baby.
The answer to that question is yes and no, Jennifer. Yes, because your developing baby is completely dependent on you for his or her supply of nutrients, and humans need more than 40 different nutrients every day. This means the quality and variety of your diet is extremely important, and your baby is relying on you to eat the foods that provide all the nutritional building blocks for growth and development he or she needs. But this is the no part of my answer, Jennifer. Surprisingly, your body doesn't need more calories until the last 3 months of your pregnancy, and even then it's only an extra 200 calories a day, so you don't have to eat twice as much.
What is 200 calories?
Well, that's a good question. Calories are a measure of the energy in food. 200 calories is the equivalent of 2 slices of wholemeal bread, 1 avocado, or 2 apples, or 4 round oat cakes.
And that's not until my last trimester. Okay. How much weight will I gain during my pregnancy?
Okay, well, as a guide, if you're overweight, you'd expect to gain 1 stone or 6 kilograms. If you're healthy weight, you'd expect to gain 12 kilograms or 2 stones, and an underweight woman about 3 stones or 19 kilograms. It's also important not to gain too much weight. If you have concerns, ask to see a dietitian. If you're very overweight and pregnant, don't try to lose weight during your pregnancy because it may not be safe. Aim to maintain your present weight. There are risks associated with being obese during pregnancy, and if you're worried, ask to see a dietitian.
Is there anything I can't eat while I'm pregnant?
That's a great question, Jennifer, because there's quite a few different types of foods that you must avoid while you're pregnant. First of all, there are certain fish that you just shouldn't eat, and these include marlin, swordfish and shark. These contain high levels of mercury that could harm your baby's development. We probably don't eat these types of fish too frequently, but you have to be careful of tuna, and you mustn't eat more than 140 grams of tuna fish per week. And no haggis, liver patty, liver sausage. These are high in vitamin A, which can harm the baby if too much is consumed. So it's much easier just to avoid these. Because your immune system is suppressed while you're pregnant, we must protect you from food poisoning. There are certain cheeses that could harbour something called listeria, and that's particularly found in soft, white skin cheeses and blue vein cheeses, so avoid these altogether. And likewise, you have to make sure that food is completely cooked, so no runny eggs, well cooked chicken, all your meat must be well cooked, and when you test if your meat's cooked properly, there must be no bloody juices coming out of it. Completely cooked all the way through is the only way we can keep you safe from food poisoning. And as for alcohol, well, what you drink, your baby drinks. So we say absolutely no alcohol because it can damage your unborn baby.
Can I keep drinking tea and coffee?
Are you a tea Jenny? High levels of caffeine in your body act as a stimulant and can result in low birth weight babies, which can increase the risk of health problems in later life. So that's a really good question to ask. Caffeine is naturally found in lots of foods, coffee, tea, chocolate, and is added to some soft drinks and energy drinks. Some cold and flu remedies also contain caffeine, so talk to your midwife, doctor or pharmacist before taking any of these remedies.
So what's a high level of caffeine?
Anything more than 200 milligrams is high. 1 mug of instant coffee is 100 milligrams, 1 mug of filter coffee is 140 milligrams, 1 mug of tea is 75 milligrams, 1 can of cola is 40 milligrams, 1 can of energy drink is 80 milligrams, and 1 50-gram bar of plain or dark chocolate is around 50 milligrams. 1 50-gram bar of milk chocolate is around 25 milligrams. So 1 bar of chocolate and 1 mug of filter coffee is easily a 200 milligram hit of caffeine. To cut down on caffeine, try using decaffeinated tea and coffee and decaffeinated drinks if you want a fizzy drink, but you can have lots of naturally decaffeinated things like water or juice or milk.
Okay, that all makes sense. So I'd like to know more about what I should be eating. Can we go over that?
Absolutely. Okay, great. Well, Jennifer, in the UK, how we visualise what a healthy meal plan looks at is by looking at something called the Eat Well plate. And I love this because it helps us see the big picture of what we should be eating. It doesn't focus on good foods or bad foods, but just the different ratios, the different proportions of the food groups that we need to eat to keep us healthy and to keep your growing baby healthy. You can see straight away that 2/3 of the food we eat should come from plants in the form of 1/3 being fresh fruits and vegetables and 1/3 being from high fibre starchy carbohydrates. The last third itself is split into 3 sections, 1 section being for protein foods, 1 section being for dairy foods, and this section here being for high fat and high sugar treats. And this is great because it lets us see that within a healthy meal plan, there's a place for these types of foods within our diet. So Jennifer, if we start by looking at the Eat Well plate and we look at the first third, which is the class of foods we call the starchy carbohydrates. These are energy foods. Your body breaks down high fibre starches very slowly into glucose, which mother and baby use to power the billions of processes that are going on in both bodies. Powering muscles, keeping your body at room temperature, digesting food, breathing, sending brain and nerve messages, making hormones. The list is endless.
What is a high fibre starch and how will I know it is high in fibre?
High fibre starches are much more nutritious because none of the nutrient content, that really means the goodness from the food, has been taken away in processing. So excellent sources are whole grain breads. We've got some whole grain bread here, and cereals, crackers, oat cakes, potatoes, sweet potatoes, and we've got some noodles and pasta. All of these things haven't been processed in a factory where the outer husk has been removed, and it's this outer husk that provides the fibre that's so nutritious. The fibre helps our body eliminate waste products via our bowel, which is really important because in pregnancy the hormones relax the body muscles, including your digestive tract, making constipation and hemorrhoids much more common, and neither is much fun. But also high fibre foods keep us feeling full up for a wee bit longer, so we're less likely to snack in between meals, which is really useful for avoiding excessive weight gain during your pregnancy. So the next section I want to talk about is the fruit and veg section. So we've looked at 1/3 being starchy, high fibre carbohydrates. This third is your fresh fruits and vegetables. And you should aim to have 5 a day, but it's very important during pregnancy to make sure you wash everything, because remember before we talked about your immune system maybe being a little bit lower, and we must protect you from food poisoning. So wash everything thoroughly before you eat it. So 5 portions of fruit and veg a day minimum, and it's very easy to get 5 portions of fruit and veg in. In fact, I've got a plate here that shows you exactly what it could look like. A portion of fruit or vegetables equates to 80 grams, and generally we would say that would be something that would fit in the palm of your hand. And this is what 400 grams or 5 a day looks like. You can see it's very easy to achieve this amount, especially if you focus on having a portion of fruit and vegetables at every meal time and snack time. And Jennifer, I want you to see these lovely lush green leafy vegetables here. We've got some spinach and kale. The word folate, which is very important in pregnancy, actually comes from the word that means foliage. So you'll always know which foods to eat to get lots of folate in your diet. Green leafy veg.
That'll help me a lot, actually.
Choose rich, deep coloured fruits and vegetables. The chemicals, which you might have heard called phytochemicals, that give these fruits and veg their rich, deep colour, have lots of wonderful health benefits, acting as antioxidants and promoting good health.
So I should eat a rainbow at each meal?
That's a really great way of thinking about it. Eat them raw or cooked, likely steamed. You can even have frozen, and always put a lid on your pot to prevent losing vitamins in the steam. And if you like, you can use the water to make soups or gravies, and that way you're losing very little of the nutrition. So here we've got some of these lovely bright rich colours in the fruits and vegetables we've been talking about, and it can range from something simple like tangerines to the deep blues of blueberries and the lovely reds in peppers and strawberries and tomatoes. And all of these have been bought locally, so it's not as if you have to trek miles away to get delicious fruits and vegetables. They're all on our doorstep. And the good thing now is that we don't have to wait for things to be in season. So if there's a certain few kinds of fruits that you like, say perhaps berries, we can get them at any time of the year. Jennifer, before we talk about protein, I noticed that your water's getting a bit low. Shall I top you up?
Yeah, please.
Okay, well done for drinking. Okay.
Thank you.
So do you remember when we were looking at the Eat Well plate, there was a tiny section of protein in there? It's a small section because it's very easy to get all the protein that your body requires. And protein is essential. Think about it like toy building blocks, which you're soon going to become very familiar with. Protein is essential for all sorts of processes in the body, and what we do when we eat protein is our body breaks it down into amino acids and then reassembles those amino acids into whatever kind of tissue we might need. So that might be hair, skin, nails, muscle. It might also be things like hormones, enzymes or neurotransmitters, and we get protein from a wide variety of sources. If we start with this group here, these are all protein sources that you get from animals. So we've got some red meat here from beef, minced beef, we've got some pork, we've got white meat in the form of chicken, we've got some oily fish, salmon, which is also really high in omega-3 oils, which is wonderfully good for you and the baby, as well as eggs. And what I want you to remember with these types, Jennifer, is that they must all be well cooked through. Remember, because your immune system's a bit lower at the moment, and that will protect you from food poisoning. This is also a group of foods that are high in protein, but these are not from animals. Do you recognise everything here?
I know a few of them, but I'm not actually sure what these two are.
Okay, these are actually soya beans, and these are wonderful because these contain all 9 essential amino acids, exactly the same as animal proteins do. Humans use these amino acids within the body to make essential muscles, tissues, all sorts of things. So it's really good to have a source that's complete in amino acids. Other sources are things like lentils, beans and pulses. Now lentils are great because you can add them to soups and curries and stews and not even know they're there, and it's a really great way of bulking up the protein. These are called chia seeds, And these are really high in protein too. And interestingly, they've got some omega-3 in them, just the same as the oily fish. And we've also got nuts, different varieties there. They're also really good sources of protein. Lots of people ask about nuts. They're an excellent source of protein, but some people are concerned that possibly they shouldn't be eating them in pregnancy in case it can contribute towards developing an allergy in the baby. This isn't true, and they're such a valuable food to eat in pregnancy as part of a meal or a healthy snack. Please don't avoid them unless you have a known allergy. I just want to say one more thing about fish. I know we've spoken about it before, but the current UK recommendations are that pregnant women should eat 2 portions of fish a week. One of those portions of fish should come from an oily fish like salmon or mackerel or sardines, and the other come from a white fish like cod or haddock. Oily fish such as these are extremely valuable for their omega-3 that we spoke about briefly before. And omega-3 fatty acids are important because they aid retina and brain development in your baby. But if you eat too much, it could be that you are consuming too many pollutants. So that's why there's a strict guideline on no more than 2 portions a week. If you're a vegetarian, other sources of omega-3 are limited, but walnuts, flaxseed oil or ground flax seeds have similar properties, and we spoke about these chia seeds before as well. So you could add a handful of these things into your breakfast cereal or your salad, and that would be a good way of increasing the amount of omega-3. So I'd like to look at the other section of that bottom third, Jennifer, which is the dairy containing foods. And we've got a wide selection of dairy foods here. Now dairy is wonderful because it's a rich source of calcium, and in fact we know that if you consume 3 portions of dairy per day, you'll very easily achieve your recommended daily amount of calcium. Now calcium is a mineral that we use in the body to maintain a strong foundation, and by that I mean our spines, our bones and our teeth. And it's important to have a really strong foundation in order to keep upright and stay strong. So the dairy foods I have here are cow's milk here, we've got some hard cheese, yoghurt, cottage cheese and processed cheese spread. And these are all completely safe to eat in pregnancy, unlike the ones we spoke about before. But if you don't like milk, or you have an allergy or intolerance, or are vegan, you can find calcium in lots of other sources, such as sardines, butter beans, green leafy vegetables, oranges, dried figs. Dairy alternatives are wonderful, such as soya milk, tofu and some nuts.
Okay, all that makes so much more sense to me, Jill.
I'm really pleased, but there's just a few more areas I'd like to cover with you if that's okay, Jennifer.
Yeah, brilliant. Yes.
Well, the first section is about vitamin D. Now, vitamin D is essential to help your body absorb all that wonderful calcium we looked at earlier on. Now, during pregnancy, it's recommended that all females receive a vitamin D supplement, and your midwife will arrange for this to happen for you. The reason for that is there are very few dietary sources of vitamin D. There's a little bit in some fish and some meat and some spreads, and also we make it ourselves in the summer months when the sunlight hits our bare skin. And Jennifer, we've spoken about water intake and you've been brilliant getting through your glass of water during this. But I really want to discuss water one more time, fluid in particular. It's so important, and in fact Shakespeare described the human body as just being standing water.
Really? Why is that?
Well, it's because the human body is at least 75% water, and it's so important to ensure that all our body functions work at their best, at their optimum. And it's very easy to get your daily intake of fluid in if you remember to sip throughout the day and have a wide variety of fluids ranging from decaf tea and coffee, water, juice and milk, to even including the water that's in fresh fruits and vegetables. All these are so important, not only to keep you hydrated and help you eliminate waste products, but it also comes back to helping prevent the dreaded constipation and hemorrhoids.
Oh no, not bowels again.
And I've nearly forgotten to mention heartburn.
That's really good because I've actually, one of my friends has been saying that I'll probably get that while I'm pregnant.
It is so common, and the reason for it is it's the same mechanism that causes constipation and hemorrhoids. It's the hormones relaxing the muscle that's between your esophagus, which sometimes we call the gullet, and the stomach. And because that's relaxed, food and contents from your tummy that are normally kept down there can re-enter your esophagus, and they're full of acid, which really gives you a burning pain. Hence the term heartburn. Its proper name is acid reflux. And I experienced this once when I was pregnant, driving from the island to Inverness, and I was about an hour away from getting anywhere I could buy something, a liquid antacid to take. And when I got to the supermarket, the first thing I did was race to the pharmacy counter and buy some of this antacid and glug it down. I had been eating chocolate, which is, I can see why I got heartburn, because fatty foods or spicy foods, sometimes some really raw vegetables like onions can set it off too. So a good tip is always talk to your midwife about heartburn and be prepared to have, different kinds of antacids all over the place. So in your car, in your handbag, in your bedside drawer, so that when it strikes you can deal with it really quickly, because it can be so painful that it can actually take your breath away.
Oh, brilliant. Heartburn and constipation. What a brilliant time pregnancy is.
I know, but it's all worth it, Jennifer, I promise. So remember, dietitians help pregnant women do what they want to do for themselves, make the best food choices for themselves and their baby, so that you have a healthy toddler. And we support the mothers, especially with any health issues on top of being pregnant. And what's up there high amongst the most important thing a pregnant woman can do, Jennifer?
Attend their dietitian appointment.
Well done. Who's the witch now?